Hi, Loma Verde. Happy Friday. Mrs. Cheema here. I'm kind of glowing over there, aren't I? I've got a book for you. We have another exciting week coming up. It's going to be Red Ribbon Week, so we've got lots of spirit days, ending with our character day or costume parade will happen on the 31st. And then many people celebrate the Day of the Dead on November 1st and 2nd. And so I have a book called Ghost Wings, and it's written by Barbara M. Joossee and illustrated by Giselle Potter. Let's read. Look at those butterflies. Ghost Wings. There's a place in the Mexican forest where monarch butterflies go. In the autumn, millions arrive to rest in oyamel fir trees, sip from nectaring plants, and fan their wings in the sun. In the spring, they begin their journey north. This place is called the Magic Circle. I remember the day the butterflies left. They were the color of the sun setting on the mountains. They filled the trees with gold, so many they made the boughs bend. When they flew away, their wings rustled like skirts. That was the day my grandmother died. It's very sad. Grandmother was my best friend. When we made tortillas, we sang our favorite songs. Grandmother worked the dough on a big metate, pushing and mashing till it didn't have any lumps. I had a little metate right next to hers. When the tortillas were ready, we cooked them side by side. There she is with Grandma. At night, Mama tucked me into bed, but I heard monsters slither on the floor. They snapped their teeth and hissed my name. I pulled the covers up to my chin, but still the monster slithered and snapped. I cried out to Papa. He said, "You must be brave." I called to Mom. She said, "Nonsense. There are no monsters." But Grandmother leaned her broom against my bed and laid beside me, smelling of cornmeal and roses. "If the monsters dare to come," she said, "I'll chase them away with my broom." When Grandmother sat with Grandmother next to me, no monsters snapped their teeth, and none of them hissed my name. In winter, Grandmother and I loved to visit the Magic Circle. We sat on the forest floor and let the butterflies cover us with gold. We let them fan their wings on our shoulders and tickle our arms with their legs. One spring, Grandmother became thin as smoke. She didn't make tortillas. She was too tired. She said, "It's almost time for the butterflies to leave. Come with me to the Magic Circle and we'll say goodbye." It was a cloudy day and the butterflies clung to the trees. Their wings were closed and they were still as stone. One butterfly lay on the forest floor. I picked him up and blew warm breath on him. He shook his wings and flew away. Look, do you see him on the trees? "Close your eyes," Grandmother said. "Do you still feel the butterfly?" I nodded. My arm still tickled. That's because they carry the souls of the old ones, and the old ones never really leave. Then the sun came out. The butterflies rose in a whoosh. They filled the sky with gold. In a few weeks, all the butterflies were gone. The Magic Circle was empty. That was the day my grandmother died. Papa took me to the Magic Circle and we cried together. He said, "When you love someone, they never really leave." But the butterflies were gone. He said the butterflies would come back, that they always came back, but my arm didn't feel the tickle anymore. That night, the monsters crashed beneath my bed and hissed my name. I trembled in my bed alone. I wanted Grandmother. I leaned her broom against my bed and pressed my nose into her pillow. At first, I could smell cornmeal and roses. But after a while, even the smell was gone. There was no one between me and the monsters. The time of the roses passed and became the time of the marigolds. This was the season for Days of the Dead, the time to remember the old ones. At the market, we bought candles and pan de los muertos with sugar bones on top. Mama chose a bag of oranges, and when I smelled them, they made my nose prickle. I bought a skull made of chocolate and sugar. Do you see that? Oops. After lunch, Papa set up an ofrenda. On it, Mama put candles, oranges, and Grandmother's picture. I leaned her broom against the altar and spread rose petals and cornmeal on top. When the day was almost gone, the light became thin as smoke. Mama lit the candles, and their flames shook the shadows from the room. Papa said, "I remember Grandmother." Mama said, I remember that she taught me how to cook. I tried to remember grandmother too, but she seemed so far away. All night the candles flickered on the ofrenda. I smelled roses and cornmeal as I went to sleep. In the morning, we walked to the cemetery. All the neighbors were there. We cleaned up the graves of the old ones. I spread flowers over grandmother's grave and ate my chocolate and sugar skull. The neighbors filled the cemetery with picnic baskets and flowers, stories, and noise. One man sang grandmother's favorite songs. There was a tiny flicker in the sky. It was a butterfly. Soon the tombs and crosses were covered with flickering gold. One of the butterflies landed on my arm. It fanned the sun with its wings and tickled my arm with its legs. I said, I remember that grandmother was brave. She chased monsters with a broom. I remember how she smelled like cornmeal and roses. She sang songs and made tortillas, and when she took me to the magic circle, it really was full of magic. The butterfly shook its wings and flew away. I closed my eyes. I could still feel the tickle. In my head, I heard grandmother's songs. I smelled roses and cornmeal. Now I remembered grandmother. And then at the end of this book, it talks about the days of the dead and the monarch butterflies. And this book, Ghost Wings, is in our library. Maybe you'll check it out. All right, I hope you have a fantastic week. Go Bears!